What's up, guys? Welcome to Crypto Cartel, first stream of 2025. And I wish it was under better market conditions, but we're here to give you some live TA, our take on the market. We've both been in the market for over 5 years now, and we're seeing signs of a potential top with Bitcoin. Or is this another opportunity to really kill it with altcoins? That's what we're here to talk about and analyze today. So yeah, a lot going on with the market since we did our last stream, I think before Christmas. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, welcome guys, welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin here. And there's a few things I do want to share, uh, you know, as we start. But one of the things that I do want to talk about is our Telegram group and how we've been, talking about Bitcoin there for the last, since October really. But a few of the things that I've been noticing that I did talk about, which so far has kind of played out. One of the scenarios I gave out back on December 27th. There's three scenarios that I gave out, which was the one where we got rejected. We talked about that. There was a lot of resistance here, and then the whole idea was support between 92K to 89K, right? That would be great to respect. And today we did hit that 89K. The second scenario would be we break it down, we go down to like 86 to 84K, and then maybe sideways action and then up. And the last scenario was the 75 to 78K range if, shit hits the fan. So looking at, what I've had in the past, it's the exact same chart I've kept. But we've been rejected here. We broke down out of this trend. We tried to come back up a few times. There was weakness, there was bearishness. So then what happened? We went ahead and we dumped all the way to 91, went back up to $12,000 to 102, and just came back down again. I was hoping for a double bottom here, but when we start looking at the RSI, and it's one of the things that I started to notice a while back around December 16th when we hit 108. That's when I wasn't feeling as bullish. The bearishness was very strong, and that's exactly what happened, right? Um, but in general, I think looking at the charts, it looks like we're going to be a little bit more bearish. And I say that because, first of all, that's the daily. We're going into MACD negative territory, which I don't like on the daily. And then, 3 day is weak. We just closed on a 5 day. The MACD is crossing. And this is where it gets, I don't like this one. I don't like the MACD on the weekly going lower because I'll show you what happens when we go low on the MACD. Uh, we were on the red for since April 24th all the way out to like September 24th, right? I'm not a big fan of this red. Ideally, I'd want to see some sort of something like this, right? Go sideways. This one was from it started back in 1st of August, and then we were back out of the negative in like a month and a half, right? Overall, I mean, the macro trend is still bullish. We're still in bullish trend on the MACD. Anything below this is obviously bear city, right? Usually this is the bearish time. But here are my scenarios specifically, and I'll explain why I have that. So you got to see the macro, and I just want to give you the straight point as to why these would be support levels. Support levels here on the wick, right? Become support. Last but not least, it would be a retest of this top close enough, maybe down to here. If you take the fib from from our last impulse, which was I believe around here, to 108, I have this labeled as 70. The 76 is in green. So bearish case. I mean, not bearish case, but like a liquidation, like a bad liquidation would lead us down to 75. Otherwise, I want to see us respect this levels, if not the mid 80s. That's all I have to say about Bitcoin, really. But for now, I think I want the MACD for the weekly has to, or the RSI, stochastics RSI maybe has to come down, and then do a turn, and then I'd be very bullish once we start turning up again. But until we reach the bottom or turn, I'm not. I'm in neutral side. I just want to see some good sideways action, bullish divergence to get us out of this trend. Any questions on Bitcoin before I move on to dominance, Henry, or anything you want to add?
Yeah, let's just stay on Bitcoin real quick because I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of there's a story kind of behind what happened here with the chart. I think let me share my screen real
yeah,
quick.
go for it.
So let's just recap like how the year started, right? So you see my screen?
Yeah, there it is.
So Wednesday, January 1st, quarterly, yearly open, we're at 93K. We quickly rally. I think the first couple days here, the first week up to 100K, and kind of put in this like deviation, right? So we're definitely now no longer in a trend. We're kind of in an uptrend. We're now shifted over to a range, right? Like this choppy up and down price action. And basically we have gotten some macro data that has really put some pressure on markets. Yields and the dollar are both up because basically, um, good news is bad news now. And what happened was we got some hot jobs data. The market, didn't like that because the market, what it wants is liquidity and it wants obviously more rate cuts to keep the party going. But now we're seeing data that's counter to that. Basically, the Fed can't be cutting when the economy is so strong. So that's why you see basically the dollar ripping because now the market's kind of pricing in a new regime. Uh, the 10-year ripping, the like long-term bonds are ripping. So why does this all matter for Bitcoin? Because I'd say most of last year macro was good, and now you're starting to get like the first headwinds on macro, right? So that's why we are where we are now, and the reason why it's important to go over that is we have CPI coming, I believe, Wednesday. So that's really going to be like kind of like a make or break moment for the market. If CPI, which is inflation data, comes in either in line or below expectations, I think we could see some relief, like as in some bullish price action, right? If it comes in above, and it looks like the Fed has kind of lost control on its fight of inflation, like they cut rates too fast, then maybe some of those scenarios you said do start to play out. Uh, but actually, as we were starting the stream, and I was just tweeting out the link. I saw some breaking news basically in the last half hour that the Washington Post is reporting that Trump is expected to issue executive orders pertaining to crypto on day one. So I think you mentioned momentum indicators are kind of like in a neutral state, uh, and I think that is one catalyst that could give if CPI isn't good, that's another catalyst. Like with Trump coming into office
Yep.
next week, obviously calling himself the crypto president, like friendlier regulations to crypto. Um, and then you only have a 29% chance here that he'll create a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days while you're getting headlines like this. Like, this is kind of one of the benefits of being in crypto day to day. You're just you see things faster than everyone, right? So that's not to say like, the worst is behind us. I could definitely see, I think the Bitcoin likes to do the opposite of what everyone is expecting. So I think when we were about above 100K, everyone thought we were going to keep going up, and now that we're down at the lows, everyone is getting kind of bearish. And um, I'm not gonna lie, like it's dicey from a TA perspective. Like I have this, to me, it's really comes down to this level here at like 93, 92.8, which is the yearly and monthly open. And we've talked about like the monthly open strategy on the stream before. Like above the monthly open, you're bullish, and below it, you're bearish. So, you know, right now we did get a wick below. So I'd say like just keep an eye on this monthly open. If you're able to stay above and price starts drifting higher, or basically I have two scenarios. Either that was it and we just kind of go sideways until Trump starts announcing some stuff, or we get one more like liquidation, like it gets rejected here, and one more like liquidation, but I think it'll be like V recover. Um, I think we went from there was a lot of rate hikes priced in last year by markets, and that's kind of why they went, they were just ripping the way they did. And now we've kind of swung the pendulum to the other way, where I think only one rate hike is priced in now, and it's not going to be until I think if you look at the probabilities, they're pricing it in like the first one looks like it's going to be it's like 40 50 almost in June July, which is that's just for the first one. And we basically swung all the way around where now people are pricing in like a hawkish Fed. So definitely a dicey time, but I think if with that news about Trump kind of announcing things on day one and making crypto a priority, and hopefully CPI isn't too crazy, isn't too heated, I think we're kind of priced too pessimistically right now for what's going on. And what do you think? I know that was a lot there, but just sum me up the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. One of the things that I think you and I are both looking at, or I guess we're both in sync on that part where, let's just say, when did you say CPI comes out?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday, right? All right. So here's something I see that it could be a potential. I'm not sure, but and this to me would make sense. All right. One of the other quick things I want to mention is the 3 week is very bearish. By the way, we haven't even completed a full stochastic, and we're about to cross back into bearish scenario here. That's the 3 week. And I guess I'm just giving you the macro level here. 2 week we're already crossing under. I don't like that. Those are big dumps usually. Um, for example, here we had like a nice little dump there, but like I said, not a big fan of those. Yeah, but let's just go back to one thing I do want to add is this. So let's just say that yeah, we do have some bad CPI data, right? There's one thing I was drawing out. The technical analysis says we are in a shoulder head and shoulder pattern. Ideally, what I would like to see is CPI report be bearish, wick either down to the mid 80s, and then wick back up. Because when Trump gets elected, now we only have good news, right? So then that wickage would be a good catalyst to get in. And so if this shoulder head and shoulder plays out, we'd be seeing 74K, right? Which is the last top we haven't retested yet, right? In terms of, and then once we wick there, I think we're going to a higher high. So I'm saying this. We have bad news on Wednesday. We wigged down to like mid 80s, if not the 70s, and then with following 5 6 days later, we have good news. Ideally, I want to see that play out because we need heavy impulse for us to do reversals. And today was a really good. It was a heavy wick to 89K, right? We went from 102 to 89, so I kind of like that price action, and we had good recovery. But anyway, that's what I think, and that's what I'm hoping. A really like flush out before we go into higher highs. That's all I have to say about that. But then, yeah, looking at the dollar, I've been tracking the dollar for quite some time now, and we had a really nice breakout. We had a cup and handle here, and we started to break out back in October, and we're on this rising wedge. If you look at the weekly, we are very very bullish on the dollar. It's got a lot of momentum. The monthly, I mean, the monthly, we just went green on the MACD after a year, almost a year. So, I mean, these are all very bullish signs. The MACD is above into in positive grounds, so it looks like we could get even higher, maybe double top and then dump. I mean, anyway, so that's looking very strong. BTC dominance. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, not much really, but we're getting in, getting out, getting back in. So it's iffy markets to be trading, and again, people are getting flushed out because people aren't holding their altcoins, right? So yeah, that's all I got for. You want to add anything to that, to dominance or the dollar? I want to move on.
Yeah. Let me take a quick look at dominance because I think on this move, or basically since December when the FOMC happened, you had Powell kind of come out as hawkish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the point where things, I wouldn't say it's a new paradigm, but things definitely shifted from like super bullish to okay, like maybe the markets got a little ahead of themselves. Um, so that's all why it's important to put into context like why the trend started, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when the Fed is tightening and is hawkish relative to like and the economy is so strong relative to the rest of the world, then that's why would the Fed be cutting into that? And we kind of do need cuts. I wouldn't say we need them to go up, but it's like that's the sweet spot, right? Like the economy is growing, but they're somehow still cutting. And that's like the so-called soft landing that we were hoping for, right?
Yeah.
But I think what's important, the reason I bring that up is because basically since then, or at least that's when I remember, like altcoins really just started getting killed. Almost everything across the board, except for AI stuff, was really uh, just underperforming Bitcoin by a lot, right? And you can look here. You can do this is just the top 100, like the last 30 days. Almost everything is in red. I mean, if we sort just for, there's only like 10 coins, less than, yeah, one, two, three, like 7 or 8 coins that are green the last 30 days, right? And then everything is red. So that means like doesn't really matter. There's really nowhere to hide in the market.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and at the same time, you have Bitcoin just slowly drifting lower, and then Bitcoin dominance is slowly drifting higher. So what that means is like altcoins are just getting killed. And we've talked about it on the stream before. If we really want to see like a crazy alt season, Bitcoin dominance has to roll over. So this does look like to me like a bit of a fake out, and we're back into that trend that you also had. And it makes me think that you know the BTC top isn't in yet. And basically just looking at the alt market, like you said, like people aren't holding, the rotations are getting much faster. And I think it's turned, in 2021 it was like a holders market, and now we're really in like a traders market, which means like you have to really be plugged into all the different rotations that are happening. Like if we look across, all the sectors, every alt sector is down, which is crazy in the last month. Um, yeah, almost on every time period. So, but there was one sector that was actually outperforming all of them. Let me see if I have it up here, which was AI, right? And that was one sector that personally I was pretty bullish on. Um, looks like they don't have the newer AI things, but oh yeah, here the agents. Um, let me change the time frame here. So let's check out the last 30 days, right? Everything is in red, every sector, right? But then you go to the platforms, frameworks, agents, you start to see a little bit of green. And that this is after the retrace, so this was a lot higher, like literally a week ago. Um, so basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to be playing in altcoins, you have to be not only right on the trend, but also the timing of when you're going to hold, when you're going to exit, when you're going to enter, exit, and you have to really be on point because the market is unforgiving. Like it's relentless. And if we go to the top 300, just want to see like if there's any strength right in this weak market. Um, so I'll let that load really quick. But basically, everything got killed except AI, right?
Yeah.
And
So
that was.
go ahead.
Mhm. I was just gonna say that was like my base case. What I didn't expect, and I will say I got, definitely my portfolio got hurt on this, is AI topped out as well. It just topped out later, basically this week.
Yeah. No, so one of the things that I did want to add is, remember back in April we had that real, or from November to April to like March, we had that crazy nice alt run. And remember,
Yeah.
everything just came down. I remember I was on a trip, so I didn't even look at my portfolio, but a lot of the gains which was gone. And I think that was a really good sign to start understanding how the market was shifting, right? Because nobody's holding now, unless it's Dino coins. Nobody else is really holding.
Are you talking about like 2 or 3 months ago, like after Trump got elected,
No, I'm
basically?
talking about back in from November. I'm sorry, yeah, back from November 23 to like March, we had this really nice run, right? I remember because I was in TIA, and I went from like $2, so you know what I mean. And it just like got plummeted around April, and just kept bleeding from there.
Oh, you're talking about 2023.
Yeah, 23 to 24. Remember that transition? There was like a nice pump, and then that's when I was so surprised that everything had dumped so fast, and I think that was a sign to
Yeah,
start, looking at those things.
yeah, and it makes sense. Like if you think about how the crypto market has evolved, a lot of people have been in the market uh, for a couple years now, just like us, or a couple cycles. So they've kind of understood the playbook of like, okay, I know my altcoins can pump, I know they can outperform, but it's not forever. So let me just book profit. And basically, the market has gotten a little bit more sophisticated. Like you can see in the last 30 days, like last year's top performing sectors and some of the top performing coins like Goat, like Nero, Peanut, Popcat, Whiff. This doesn't look like a meme coin super cycle to me.
Yeah,
Everything's 50 to 60% down in the last 30 days. And uh, if you sort for the best performers, you have AI. Some of the AI tokens are up here, right? But again, you had to be very quick to enter and then exit, because even these ones that are up, like fartcoin, AXBT, some of the coins that I personally own that are up 60 or 70% in the last 30 days, in the last 7 days, those have been some of the coins getting killed the most, right? Like Virtuals, AI16Z, Goat. So just relentless rotations, right? You just have to be really sharp if you're going to be playing in the altcoin market. Um, but with that said, I do think like with this news, and so what that's basically like an analysis on what happened, right? But how do we play this next? So basically we have that news that just came out that Trump is now going to be doing things very quickly. That was like one of the questions that I had, is how is this just another politician making promises, or is Trump really going to
right,
start putting pen to paper
right,
and moving some crypto initiatives forward? And it sounds like he is. And at the same time, you see this: will Trump create a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days? This is Polymarket, and which has been pretty accurate at a 29% chance. And then Bitcoin is down, I think, 15 to 20% off the highs. What that tells me is like they're the the initiatives that Trump is going to do are not priced in. That's kind of my take on the market. Uh, and it looks like it was like a sell of the news, but before the actual event of the Trump inauguration. Um, so with that being said, how am I going to play this? I think AI has shown itself to be the cyclical winner, and until something else shows strength, that's kind of where I'm going to stay looking for opportunities. Now, with that said, like a lot of my positions, I did give back a lot of profit. I'm still in profit, but uh, the question I'm kind of asking myself now is like, do I want to? Do I like still have conviction in these? Uh, and or is there going to be another rotation somewhere else? Right? Like, is this my chance to get out? Um, but I think if we think Bitcoin can bounce and we think AI is going to continue to be the leader that it's showing itself to be up to this point in the cycle, then I think that means the opportunity is still where we've been talking about, which is AI platforms, AI memes, new launches on AI. Um, so to me, even though things are down 50 or 40%, that to me seems like an opportunity for the right. And the main thing is having very good altcoin selection, right? Which has not been easy to do.
yeah.
Um, so with that, I mean, is there what do you think about that, Alex? Am I just coping here,
Uh,
or is
I
AI?
mean, we're definitely not the bull run's definitely not over yet, and I think, so
Yeah,
I think we're good there. But one of the important things that you do mention is how do we? Oh yeah, so picking the coins that are going to run, right? And we've stated multiple times the ones that show strength, right? And so I think, on a dip, like today, I mean, today was a great opportunity to buy, right? At 89K when everything was bleeding. I think Sui was a great buy, Doge was a great buy. And if you have that market conviction, then it's good. Right now, I'm still liking the 90s, and I still think it's a good place to buy, especially because we hit 89. I think it's still a good place until we see more weakness, right? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Bitcoin's recovering really nice after after what Washington Post said. I mean, we're back to almost 94K, right? So with that said, I
and
mean,
back above the yearly open.
exactly. So it's looking bullish right now. I mean, that bounce really shows strength that, you know what, and if Trump, like we said, if it's not just a politician thing, and if he does what he needs to do, then we're gonna see, we're probably gonna see 120s, 130K soon enough, you know. So it really depends on what Trump has to say. You know, he says from day one we're going to start implementing or talking about crypto. Then yeah, we see Bitcoin at 135K, and then all the other alts are going to be running, right? So the 90s for
Yeah,
BTC, and then obviously for alts, it would be a great time to DCA again if you have conviction. Always have stop losses. Um, but yeah, let's take a look
yeah.
at Sui. Do you want to add anything to that?
Just one more
Yeah.
thing I'll say, and I think I still have the screen, right?
Yeah, you do.
There's one more thing I'll say. Um, you know, when it's a ranging market, there's really the way you want to play it is it's like very simple but very hard to do because it's kind of what you're supposed to do goes against like your human instinct. And it's really simple. Like when you're down here in this green box at the bottom of the range, you long, you buy your alts, and when you get to the top, you sell or you take profit. Now, what most people do and what everyone on crypto Twitter is going to say is, "Oh, we're above 100K, we're bullish." Uh, that could be the case, but most likely we're just still in a range. It's going to come back down to the bottom, and that's when when we're at 89K, no one felt like buying, but that's actually when you should be
Exactly.
buying. So that's kind of why I just draw this out. Like, just take the emotion out of it, do the opposite of what your instinct's saying, and buy at the bottom of the range. We're in a range until proven otherwise. I would say so. Yeah, just as we talk about these altcoins, just understand the context. Like, we're sort of at the bottom of the range. It's not the Pico bottom, but to me, it's more likely that we push back either to like the mid or top of the range than it is that we break down, right? Unless some other news comes out. But just another thing I wanted to add is like the way you trade a range, it's simple, and just along the bottom of the range. That's
Yep.
it.
And guys, we gave you that number in the
So
Telegram group. We gave you 89K on the dot, and that's exactly where we went. Right, 92 to 80K. That was the range, and we wicked that $89,028. But yeah, it's showing strength.
yeah,
It's got some nice bullish divergence on the 4 hour. So let's see if that 4 hour can get us back out of this bearish trend, and it'd be good because if this shoulder head and shoulder, in my opinion, if that plays out, then it's going to be bad. But if we break out of it and ignore it, then I mean we're gonna go higher. So
yeah. So just moving on to alts now. We have preached the strategy basically since starting the channels. Look for strength, long the strength. Crypto is a momentum market. The winners tend to keep on winning. So with that framework, if we sort by this is the CoinGecko crypto categories, and you sort by 7 day performance, they must have added a new one here, but you can see everything. What's at the top? AI frameworks, right? What we've been talking about, basically infrastructure for building AI applications, AI agents. Everything else is down, right? And the worst. Well, it's interesting. Like the top and the bottom are AI, just like different AI. So AI memes
wow,
and virtuous protocols are the worst performers in the last 7 days. So could it be an opportunity, or is it just a sign of the end? We're about to find out. In the last 24 hours,
yeah,
um, it's just basically stable coins, which like basically everything is down, right? Um, and yeah, AI agents, virtuals. I mean, to me, when I see like sharp dips on leaders, I tend to bid that, but we'll also have to dig into the charts to see, if they're holding structure. So, um, but I think we can start with the L1s, right? So um, let's actually pull that up. I'm gonna search L1, and we've been preaching Sui as like the leader for I don't know the last 2 months, and let's just check the last 30 days who's actually outperforming. what we sort by market cap. Sui, everything is red except on the last 30 days, except Sui, which is up 3.2%. But obviously, just a bloodbath, right?
Yeah.
And in the last day, yeah, not really any leadership in the last day. But I think I'd love to get your take on Sui if you think that can
Yeah.
continue being a leader. I did see Ansem was calling the top on Twitter for Sui and saying $5 is probably it.
Well, yeah. So I ended up deleting a lot of I had like a mess of work, but I deleted a lot of it just to kind of look at it in a clean perspective, right? And I mean, to be honest with you, to me this is still bearish, right? Because we're making bearish divergence here on the RSI and the MACD. But it's incredible
Yeah,
because we're holding trend. People are buying into that trend, and yeah, I put this one out like a few days ago. Just did this for myself, right? Just to kind of see how the trend is going. Look, and we respect it every single time. We try to get out, but we continue to get back up, back in. Then look, we make a higher high, right? And then it's exactly what happened. Look, back there, and if let's just say if we do break, then yeah, we're gonna see like the 280s, right? But I don't. The strength of this shows. I mean, if we just go back from today's dip, right? We're up. It was 425. We're up like 10%, which is really good compared to the other alts, right? And as I'm looking at this, the smaller time frames are trying to get this out. What I'd want to see for obviously what you want to see is to make higher highs because once you start making lower highs, then obviously we're going to be bearish. But this with this strength that I'm seeing here, this would be a maybe like a rejection region. But if we break out of this and then retest it and then continue or just break out completely, right? And then just bounce off of this range, to me, that's going to be very bullish. I know Ansem said
yeah,
that it is showing bearish signs on the TA, but the way it reacts every time it dips, like it's incredible. Look at that. And it's 4 hour. Yeah, you see 4 hour is doing work right now. And I think the 4 hour could get this out of this like slight bearish trend. I mean, still bullish trend, but into a bearish trend.
yeah.
So I would hold my personally, not financial advice, but with Sui, I would hold my bags until we break this trend, and then obviously
But do
have
you have
alerts set
bags?
up. No, I don't. I don't. I don't have bags, but
So you're not holding anything, and you're not buying this
no,
level either,
no.
right?
I'm. What's that?
You wouldn't buy
Yeah.
here.
I mean, this would, like I said, this would be a great region to buy Sui. Like, I mean, it's only up 10%, right? Yeah, 10% from that low.
Would
It's
you
still a
wait for
good range.
like confirmation, like flip that 473 or 475?
Well, just off the bat, like the 4 hour still has to do some work. I want to see where the 4 hour is. So what you could do is you could like put in an alert on the stochastics, and just add an alert, right? And then once we get all the way up there, I want to see where the price action is, right? And then that'll tell me, okay, like we're showing strength. But I mean, right now, with that nice bounce we had, look at that. News came out, and look, we just popped from there, right?
Yeah,
This would be a good range to DCA. I don't care. I mean, honestly, if again, not financial advice, but if look, we're getting back above the 200 MA on the 4 hour, and that's a bullish sign. If we close a 4 hour and we continue, I think that's good. And then look, indicators are showing bullish divergence. You see, this is bullish, right? A red here is a lot smaller than the red here, and we made a lower price, right? And there's bullish divergence here. So for me, this is a good reversal side. I would start to question things around this. See us break this. I don't want to see us get rejected because you see it was resistance, 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 dump, resistance, resist. So, and this never really played. I mean, this played as a resistance here, not even support, right? We try to come back up and reject it again, right? And then we pop, W pattern, reject it. So this is very pivotal to me. I mean, if you guys want to do a risk reward, it would be something like this, right? You get in now, and then anything below that 7% to gain, higher highs essentially. So yeah, I'd leave it at that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is looking bullish for me. Again, I'm impressed by the trend that we continue to respect. That I mean, if Ansem said that, I mean he then I don't know, he knows something. But I will say the in general the technical analysis here, like the indicators, are showing bearish signs. So I will say that they are. I mean, there's bearish divergence everywhere. Um,
Yeah, and the higher time frames, those are,
exactly. Those are
more powerful than those short ones you're
yeah,
looking at.
yeah, and so yeah, that's what I think about it. You can do that risk reward if you want, but yeah. So to me, this would be like a buy DCA, but anything below that price action or breaking this trend line, I'm out. Usually, the what you'll see when we do break out is something like this. We'll break out maybe down to like 390. We retest back to maybe like four, and then we dump again. Sometimes we do get back into pattern, but just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's what I have for Sui. Any thoughts on this one? Then potential.
Yeah, I think it's good to clarify like why we're always looking at Sui, and I just want to show this table real quick. So you can see like this is layer one performance, right? Um, and almost on every time frame, I think you'll notice Sui is kind of outperforming. So this is the last 7 days. Obviously, it's been a tough week. Bitcoin down from 102 to 93, down 8%. But then you see Sui, it looks like Tons showing a little bit of strength, down 9%. So basically trading in line with Bitcoin, which is saying a lot because everything else is underperforming Bitcoin, right? And we go to the 30-day, and Sui's the only green, up 3%, while everything else is down, including Bitcoin, which is down 7.7%, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
60-day, same thing. Sui's the outperformer. 90-day outperformer. So the reason we like Sui is we're obviously, we are bullish long term. And if you want a safe trade, there's no such thing as safe in crypto, but relatively safer trade. Sui's kind of been the coin to do that with, and but it has had like a long period of outperformance, right? And actually, something I noticed when you were doing your analysis is like you have kind of this. Uh, I've started to notice this pattern more like this three drive, like one,
Yep.
two, three,
Shoulder, head, and shoulder. If you want to
and
look at it that way too. Yeah.
and yeah, and also you'll notice we have the same thing on Bitcoin, like almost like a three drive here. Whoops. It was like one, two, or actually basically these one, two,
Yep.
three, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why this works, but I've started to notice this be like a topping type of structure. Um, but yeah, Sui's been a beast, right? Like you have to kind of uh, until it does break structure. I think it makes sense to still stay long.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but $5 is like a big psychological level, and it is starting to look extended. I do have some Sui myself, and I'm probably looking to get into something else, to be honest, because I don't know. It's a tough call. Like momentum, you can see here, like very aggressively going up, and here it's getting a little bit more choppy. And I think similar to you, if we break down from this uptrend, it can get kind of ugly pretty quick. But obviously, we're trying to outperform Bitcoin, so let's take a look at it versus Bitcoin. And it looks like it did. I don't know about this wick, but it is kind of going into price discovery here. And we have the monthly open all the way down here. So I don't think it really ever retested this first high, right? So to
Yeah.
me, that kind of makes sense as like an area to to retest. Here on the 3 day, it's kind of already retesting, but I'd say like in this zone, as long as it's above the monthly open, I'm still bullish on it versus Bitcoin. And then below this monthly open, you can pull this up just using like trader XO underscore levels. It's a pretty good indicator. Um, Yeah, I mean it's still like an aggressive. Like look at this. This is just up only with
Exactly.
every dip that you've longed, you've been rewarded. So I don't know why this would be different, but it's just something to watch out for at some point. Yeah, this does kind of concern me as like a rising wedge
Exactly. And then an M pattern. That's
pattern
a
here.
double top over there already. And that's actually bearish. Yeah, I would say that's an M pattern. Yeah, but again, respecting the trend. Maybe here we start making a lower high and then we dump. Right.
Yeah, but I think Sui does look a lot better than a lot of other stuff. If we look at this is Sui versus Sol. Sol has been kind of weak. I'd be interested to see like is there going to be some kind of mean reversion here, and where Sol starts to outperform Sui, right? And you can see like Sui's just been kicking Sol's butt for the last since November, basically since Trump got elected. And but it's also coming up to this area of resistance, right? So I think yeah, maybe Sui's days of outperformance are kind of numbered here, at least on
Yeah.
the higher time frame, and before it like the trend kicks in again. Uh,
So,
this
mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I do want to give some targets in the case that we do break down for Sui, where I would start doing business again. Um, were you going to share something else about Sui?
No, I mean I was gonna talk about virtual actually, but we can do that next. So you can go ahead.
All right, let me
Let's
just
just stay on Sui.
quickly, yeah, let me quickly just do that. All right, so yeah, so shoulder, head and shoulder. Depending on where we break down, that's where I put the pull, right? The pull would be that there, right? Is that the head price from here to here, right? And so that would give me the target. The ranges that I'd be looking at, which actually makes sense, is that 280 region, right? That's where we have some good heavy levels of support here and here, right? So you see that wick there too. So that would be, I think, let's just say bearish scenario, we do come down to like 85, 75 Bitcoin. Expect so we get back down into 280s. And three, and that's a great place, in
Yeah,
my opinion, to start doing some DCA to then maybe potentially see maybe like $10, $7, right? So just keep that in mind if that happens. Otherwise, this stays validated until we break down. So, all right, you said you want to look at virtuals?
yeah.
Go for it.
And I if Sui does get down like to below $3, I think it would still be a great long if we are still if we're still waiting for alt season, if we're still bullish on the cycle not being over. Sui still got really strong fundamentals to make it back,
Yeah.
but sometimes the charts tell a story. Like a lot of people are in profit. I think since August 5th, it's done like or since the bottom, basically done like a 10x. So it's just natural market cycles but I do think it could stay a leader.
Yeah,
Just maybe just some profit taking is necessary.
definitely.
So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Um, so I just want to show this trade that we
You're
put
not
on
sharing your
here.
screen, by the way. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Uh, I'll let that load. So I think over the break or over Christmas, we sent out this trade of virtuals versus Sui. Um, so virtuals, we talked about it being one of the new kind of like a pumped up fund for agents. And let's see if I can find this setup that we put. And basically, we said, or I said that virtual would start outperforming Sui, and this was at 0.58. So 0.58 virtual to basically one half. How does it work? One virtual was half a Sui. This was on December 19th. And, if we look at the daily, December 19th was around here. And it went on to do, I think, almost 100% versus Sui, right? So outperformed Sui by 100%. And what's interesting is it topped out pretty quick. And now it's like right back to this level where we made that call. So I just thought that was interesting. But I do think if I've done pretty good research, I think, on virtuals, and it is like the leading AI coin at the moment. And if we're looking at it versus Sui, like again, we're bullish Sui, but we're looking to outperform basically the best outperformer, right? And it's kind of coming back into the zone, this area of demand, I'd say, where this first initial rally kind of started, and it's also retesting this all time high here. So I do think virtuals can outperform Sui. I think this is a great long of virtuals versus Sui. But with that said, like, is virtuals, like, are these both just cooked, right?
Yeah.
And is it just outperforming an underperformer? So I would love to get your take on virtuals on where we're at with that
Yeah,
one,
let's
because I do think the fundamentals are pretty strong with that one.
yeah, it's here, let me share my screen. I think it just and that's why that's why I'm a little bit I'm on the sidelines right now in general, right? And just looking at everything. I mean, that it looks like virtual. I think people are taking profits because remember, earlier this year we saw. I mean, I remember seeing virtual at 20 million market cap. It hit what, like 2 billion, 3 billion,
Yeah,
and I mean,
did like
yeah,
100x
I
in
mean,
3 months.
it's normal for it to I mean, to take profit once it reaches the billions, but. Uh, yeah, I mean, look at that. We are bouncing off support. We did chart this before. Um, that was nasty. Holy crap. What happened? Jesus.
It's a great question.
Wow. All right. Yeah, so we have this flag here, and then, one of the things that you guys can do to start taking profits once we start reaching that, those regions, if you guys, it's a bigger time frame play here, right? You could always take some profits out around this area, start taking some, because usually the tops and it can't just, continue to go up. Let me put some indicators here and see if we saw some bearish signs. Because kind of also looking at some of these bearish signs, and sometimes they repeat through other coins and they give you an idea of yeah, I mean, it was looking bearish. Look at that. Higher low, higher low, higher low. And the third one, yeah, it dumped. Um, but I think
So slowing momentum, basically, what that means is what that's the RSI momentum indicator, and even though price is going up, the peaks are getting lower, which means momentum is slowing, which means it's closer to the end than the beginning on
well
a rally
said.
like
Yeah,
this.
well said. Another way that you could find the top, and it's this one's worked out pretty well for me. It's a three drive thing that I also drew for Bitcoin a while back, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
perfect, right? For reversals, I usually wait for the third one, right? It goes vice versa, right? Reversal trend, it comes down. Same thing here, and this is something that's really, really cool to also take a look at. And wait, you don't even have to have an indicator here. You just look at the price action. Same thing. It'll be the same thing on the daily, right? But the daily said, all right, we had one, two, and then this was a great time to take some profit, and that was weakness. But
When was
yeah,
that
yeah,
peak?
this
I just
peak
want to check
was
when it
on the
was.
2nd of January.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
right at the
right
start
at
of
the
the year.
start. Yeah, it was that was a weird time. Everything pumped and then it dumped. But yeah, anyway, so right now, I'll be honest, man, we should be seeing some sideways. If I'm looking at the daily right now, we should be seeing some sideways action for the next few days. Um, I like this right here. I mean, this is looking very strong. That's
It's
yeah.
looking bottomy.
I would say if we do get another dump, it wouldn't go lower than 207, right? Uh,
That'd be,
if we
yeah,
do, but I
pretty
don't.
good
I
long.
mean, again, look at how they're eating this up. I mean, we are. Let's see how much we're up for the day from the bottom. I mean, 20% is still good. I think it's still a good place to start DCAing, not financial advice. Um, but I could see maybe like a double bottom or something, or just like, we hit the top, we start coming down, maybe buying the 618 or the 786 potentially. But I do have to say there is this range here of resistance, and that's one of the things, and that's one of the things that you also have to keep in mind, right? for Sui is another one, right? The resistance levels, do we break it or not? Or do we start making lower highs, right? So I'd look at this level here, and the next level I'd look at is here. I want to break these levels. Like these would be very, very, very crucial. So from here to right up to here is good. And then, obviously there's more to come from there, but it's not looking bad. This could probably go higher from here. I mean, the way it's been retracing back up has been quite strong. So yeah.
Yeah. Let me just give my quick take on this one, because I am still in this one. Basically, I'm not gonna lie, I did round trip some profit here, but luckily I'm not down. Like, the reason I think, we'll probably do like a fundamentals deep dive type of video, long form video at some point. But I personally am bullish, like longer term on this one, and I think it's kind of shown its leadership, and sometimes price doesn't necessarily reflect what's going on with the project. Sometimes everything gets sold off indiscriminately in a risk off move like we had, and that to me, that's where the money's made, right? When you have to understand something that the market doesn't. Now that said, like the market, it did sell off for a reason, so you have to kind of watch how market structure develops. But in terms of like risk reward, this I think does look like a good spot. But there's a lot of work to do, to like a lot of damage was done basically to recoup. You have the monthly open all the way up $4, and I wouldn't say this is like a punt, but you just have to really do your research to understand whether this ecosystem is still bullish.
Yeah.
But I think, in terms of like major levels, this is the area to hold, right? And there is a good risk reward here if we're longing. Let's say we long like the next pullback around like 250, and you have this. I would put this like lower wick here as like $2, big psychological level, right? Like as a kind of stop loss. But this is like the first big correction that it's had, right? So if we extend the fib on like the first initial pump, where did we actually land here? We'll probably go with like this last low here. We did retest here the 0.618, right? So it's kind of bouncing where it's supposed to. And now, kind of agree with Alex. Let's let market structure develop, but zooming in, definitely the type of reaction you want to see. And then, like as a setup, yeah, that was a pretty quick recovery. But yeah, just a lot of profit taking here. You want to see this trend kind of get reversed.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And I think if you do your research and you're still bullish on this ecosystem, like I am, where's the freaking pen? Oh, here it is. You kind of want to watch for like a shift in market structure, like higher highs, higher lows. But in terms of like risk reward on one of the best fundamental plays out there, I think great spot to long. And I'm certainly not selling my spot. I'll probably buy more actually.
Just in a nutshell, do you want to tell them like what virtuals is?
Yeah, so virtuals is basically a launch pad similar to Pumped Up Fun, and they give you like a no code platform to launch agents, and every agent that launches gets launched with a virtuals LP, so liquidity pool. So it kind of gives it very similar dynamics of a L1. Like
I'll be right back, right?
The ecosystem, like a casino chip. Yeah. If you think of an ecosystem like a casino chip, and everyone entering the casino, like the Sui casino, the Sol casino, they have to buy the L1. That's like natural buying pressure. So virtuals kind of has that same characteristic, which is pretty bullish. Like L1s have, shown themselves to outperform over time. Uh, but it is interesting to see that the virtuals ecosystem is underperforming. So um, definitely not a good sign there. But it could be an opportunity if we look at uh, what's kind of bouncing today. Looks like more lower cap type names. These are all brand new launches, and yeah, it looks like if we look at by volume, all the bigger tokens are down for the last week, but up in the last 30 days. So um, I do think this is a trend that could stay, and Virtuals has kind of solidified itself as a leader, but definitely a lot of work to do to recoup here. Uh, and then the next one we can look at is AIXBT. So if we sort by market cap, AIXBT is one of the top. It's the top agent on Virtual. Is one of the top agents in all of crypto, and it is a project we've been posting about in the Telegram. Show you guys real quick here. And we basically got bullish AIXBT a while ago. I think around 160 mil. Here was at a 200 mil market cap. AIXBT is the fastest, strongest horse in the AI agent meta. This was December 2nd. Adding to my position here, and we consistently kept giving updates here. Update, even on pullbacks, still kind of had it set up on this flag. Ripped out of this flag, but stopped short of 300 mil before coming down with the rest of the alt market, showing a lot of strength. Do not face strength on down days. I've been adding to my long-term spot bag, expecting 400 mil short term, over 1 billion long term, and we did get to that target of 400 mil, and even overextended the target over here at the all-time high of 550 million. So for me, one of my longer-term, higher conviction bags. And again, is this an opportunity to add to potentially a cyclical winner, or maybe a sign to get out? Um, definitely want to see what's going on here. So, did you catch that, Alex? Just going over the XBT here after going through virtuals.
No, I didn't catch it at all. I had to take a call, but I mean, right now, just looking at that, looks like a nice flag that could rip.
Yeah, I was just mentioning, the virtuals, the token is down, so it makes sense. Like the whole ecosystem is down,
sure.
right? And there's basically two ways to play. If you're playing in this casino and some of these agents have done a lot of crazy gains, but picking out the winners on the lower market cap ones, it's very tough. And sometimes a strategy that I like better is just longing the winner. That's something you can sleep on if you do your research and kind of build a thesis. And that's kind of what I did with AIXBT. And I just shared some of the setups that we had in early December for AIXBT, calling for 400 mil short term, 1 billion long term, and I still do think this goes to $1 billion. If you've seen the mind share that this thing has, it's now become the top KOL on a key opinion leader on crypto, right? So it has this massive distribution and followers. And let's just see how many followers it's up to now. And if you're not familiar with AIXBT, it's basically a AI Twitter account that shares alpha, crypto alpha on on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it's up to 372K followers, which is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's a big.
So I think with the market, and again, like money's made when you understand something the market doesn't. I think the market's still pricing it as like an AI agent, which agents have been kind of struggling to perform. But what they are pricing in is like this right here it's going to get to, let's say half a million. If the growth rate continues, right, it should get to half a billion followers. That is now distribution and potential purchasers of whatever product this team decides to create. So, the agent's great. I like the agent, but I think the longer term play here is this thing now has distribution and could release whatever product it wants, right? And have clients right off the bat. So I might add at some point. I don't know if this is it, but definitely pretty good correction here from the psychological levels that we talk about. Half a billion. I could see a bounce at like 300 million if we get there. I would
Mm-hmm.
personally be adding basically where this move originated from. And it might have gotten front ran there, but just have to kind of keep an eye. It is market structure is starting to shift a bit. I mean, it's been bearish since that peak, basically. And one cause of concern here is you have this bearish sign here with the EMA 12 EMA crossing under the 25 for the first time in its price trading history, right? So I would want to see it basically get above these moving averages. If it rejects from here and kind of keeps making lower lows, then there might still be some work to do. But if you want to play it safe, I would say like wait for it to kind of start getting acceptance above these EMAs and break this flag, or kind of start DCAing here if it holds these levels. That's kind of how I would
Yeah.
play it.
No, I like it. I like the structure on that one. It's good. I do want to talk about one of the ones that there's three coins that I think everybody needs to look at in the next, literally in the next 3-4 days, or maybe like the next few weeks, right? And I've talked about this in the group chat, and I do want to mention it to you guys, right? So back in October, we had found, Doge on Sol, right? Department of Government Efficiency back in October, below 1 million market cap, around 1 million and below 1 million, right? I personally fumbled this. I made like a 4x, and then I dumped it on that little peak, and then it came back down. So I was happy. I made up some losses, and then my world came crashing down when I saw this massive wick. So yeah, we ended up going from what is it, like 10 cent, like yeah, if you got back like in down here, it's essentially like 1 cent all the way to $10, right? So that was our first 100x in our group, if you got in. And then one of the things that you can't forget, and people tend to forget a lot, is okay, we have Elon coming with the Department of Government Efficiency, right? And so I've mapped out some of the plays, and we have been respecting the 786 here, and it is looking bullish for what's to come, right? And this is all speculation. That's literally all, right? But we came back all the way to 2 million, so we went back from like $10 to 22 cents, and then I took the fib from our last impulse. We came up, we retested the 786 here, we wicked, and now we're here, right? Now keep in mind, inauguration is on next week, and then as Trump is in, crypto news are going to come in. Musk is going to do his whatever it is he's going to do with Doge, and I expect this to have a crazy run. Maybe not a crazy run like we did before, but I expect this one to have a few X's, right? So that's one to keep an eye for. There's another one, which is the Doge on ETH. I mean, I'm pretty sure that one will also do the same thing. And then I was looking at both Trump and Tramp. So Trump on ETH, and then Trump on Sol, right? I believe it was in August or September. September, I started dollar cost averaging on Trump prior to the elections, right? Because it was it was a gamble, but it paid off, right? I did like a 4x on that, which wasn't bad, really. But if we look at it, in the bigger time frame, what happened? So I started DCAing down here, and then I got out back into the 40s, right? So around 11 cents, got out like a 4x, yeah. And then we had some good accumulation levels here, and this looks really good to honestly pick up, and I'll explain why. Again, Trump inauguration, people were already they're already putting this in their radar, right? So that's what people did. They accumulated after the news came out, and then guess what? We're starting to accumulate in December 31st, our first impulse, right? So this should be interesting. We got to hold these levels here, and then again, inauguration. Do we get a pump, right? Those like 2 days, 3 days around there. So I don't know. This might be a good time to get in. All speculation, right? And again, what do you think, Henry? Like, let's just say that Trump starts doing really good things with the government, implementing good news with crypto. Do you think Trump or Trump is going to pop because of those good news?
Can you go to the daily real quick? So what is that? There's a big sell off there in November. Was that
exactly.
literally election day?
Like Trump won, so then they just dumped it. Like there's no point in keeping it. I actually sold it a little bit earlier because I knew it was going to happen anyway, right?
So that's just like let's break this down a bit. Like, what were people trading there? The people that the smart money bought, go to the lows there in September, mid-September, right? That's the smart money, right? They understand, they're looking forward, they understand, or they're betting on Trump winning, right? And what do? They buy, and smarter, like everyone that buys after them is kind of like dumber and dumber money, where they've realized something, they realize the same thing, but after them. So they get to pay a higher price until finally the catalyst comes on that day, November 5th. And guess what? The trade is over. It's a sell the news. Trump got elected. Everyone thinks it's going to pump. Nope. Just everyone that bought a month and a half before is going to dump on your head. So, and I think that's something similar is playing out again. Like, that double bottom there. It's a kind of a big move. Looks like the start of the year.
Yeah.
You're getting a retest. So I think if you were to do this trade, like now is probably the time to put it on. And I would sell either the day before inauguration or I'd probably sell the day before inauguration. Because I think it could be a sell the news again when the actual day comes. But I don't know, maybe can you check out the Trump coin on ETH? Because that one I would say has a little bit more staying power than this one. Like I think this one's good.
Yeah, this one is more of like a quick in and out trade just because the market cap isn't as high as regular Trump, right? I have Trump here. Give me a second.
Yeah, because that one I think, I don't know, because like the celeb coins, they haven't done that great. Maybe Trump is different because he is the crypto president.
I mean, again, it's speculation.
We
still have to see let's see the Trump market structure, but I mean that's exactly it. Also, just side note, really quick, Peanut just got supported on Coinbase, so that should be getting a nice pump.
Yeah, so it's interesting though. Like they're finally listing memes and everyone's dumping them. So it could be, I don't know, it could be an opportunity. But I mean, I think that I think what complicates this trade is you have his own, that's the one, Mega. You have his World Liberty Fi token launching too, which is like a real DeFi project. So like, does that become the market's bet on Trump?
You should, when you get a chance, can you send that in the group? That project that you said?
They don't have the token live yet.
Information.
It's just
in general, tweet or whatever, or just like their account, so we can follow them. I mean this one. I mean this one had reacted really well in terms of a pump. It was the same thing here, right? In September, everybody's accumulating. They accumulated like 150, dumped it at 5, right?
Yeah, one was a sell-off. Well, this one sold off earlier. That's interesting.
Yeah. But again, we have kind of the same structure as the one on Sol, right? It's that whole, except we didn't retest here. But I'm really liking this flag here. This is on the 12 hours. and that's a big time frame, right? So I know the structure is really weird, but it kind of plays out. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I like
just a
both of
quick
these
trade.
for a
I
trade.
wouldn't
I
say
would just
long
say
term,
like
but
just keep in mind, you want to be smart money. You want to be ahead of the attention. Usually, once the attention is there,
yeah,
the trade is done, and you have to think like, where's the marginal buyer coming from? There is no marginal buyer anymore because there's no
yeah,
catalyst anymore, right?
yeah,
So, but I think as a trade, if I were, I mean, obviously the main Trump trade is Bitcoin, right? But not everyone likes to trade Bitcoin because the multiples aren't as high, and
yeah,
it's slower. But I don't know if you have
yep,
time
yeah.
for
I do. Like
one
things just
more, but
shifted, so I'm good.
my my Trump trade is Doge,
Normal,
because
normal
it's
Doge,
like
right?
that's the Elon and Trump trade
Yeah,
together.
and
Normal Doge, yeah,
yeah, this one is one of the ones that I've been charting to, and also, I mean, I think this is a great place to DCA, right? We could be making a double bottom. There is this other scenario that I have where we do retest this region here. Again, I'm giving you this just in case. Is if we decide to pull back, right,
22.
with Bitcoin and the whole scenario, look into that region to start DCAing. I would look between 18 cents to 22 cents. 18 would be the wick, right? That quick wick, and then we bump up. Or just 22 cents. Now, that's the bearish scenario, right? I mean, not bearish, but a good opportunity to get in because it's going to bounce anyway. Now, the other scenario is we just do a double bottom here. This is the 5 day, right? Let's just get into like the daily here. So this is and I did see this one. I was shorting this one, but then I got stopped out of my short. I was shorting around here, and then whatever. Same thing, right? We popped Bitcoin, same thing, came back down. So what we could see for Doge is maybe something like this, maybe more sideways here. So like a double bottom, right? And then more continuation later. If we do dump, you know where to look, right? Daily, and it kind of makes sense because then we just kind of touch the 200 MA on the daily, and then we just continue to go, right? This is going to continue to move up, right? The 200 MA, and then we get around that region. But again, look at those levels. There's a big gap here, right? So just understand that. I would have notifications if you want to add more, right? So levels I play are these two. If we continue to respect it, by all means, just keep it there, keep DCA in there, look at the indicators. But if not, this would be another place to really look at. And it's kind of adding up with the weekly. I think this was the local bottom here. You see resistance, resistance, resistance. Now became support. Um, MACD is a little. I don't like it when. Not a big fan of this, just because remember when we. This is a perfect example. When we go red, right? We start going red, we do this dump, right? And then we go into like because we did hit like 22 cents, and we came back down to like 7 cents. So yeah, just one thing to keep in mind. That's what I have for Doge. But you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. I'll just add just why I like Doge. Like, I think it's great doing these flips and finding 10xing, but you can't really put that much money behind that kind of idea. At least I can't. I don't feel that comfortable. But to me, something like Doge, like it's going to be around. Even if it dumps, it's probably going to make it back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm long Doge right now from basically around here. I got in kind of early,
Yeah.
but let's just check out. So you have the monthly open here. This is interesting. So I had drawn out this fib basically when I got in, and from why did I draw it there? Basically, looks like the when this last rally started. Yeah, around here, and we retrace here to the point 0.5, right? 30 cents. I think Doge can go to like $1. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and for a few reasons, because basically Elon has figured out how to make this thing relevant. Number one, so he obviously has huge bags of it, and he's incentivized to keep talking about it. Number two, I think we're going to start to see some ETFs on some of the bigger assets. Uh, I don't know if Doge. I think Sol is probably before Doge, but I do
Yeah.
think you'll see like a Doge, Litecoin, some of the XRP maybe. Uh, so this is like a longer term trade for me, but I do think the market's kind of going to front run this at some point. So to me, you had this it topped out at 48 cents right in December 8th, dumps all the way to 26, and this almost like V recovers, right? So to me, like that's like a good stop here, 25. Maybe it does go to 22 like you said. I think that would be a great opportunity to long too. But risk reward, if you're long at these levels, you can either cut it here if you want to really play it safe, like the 30 cent level, but you might get stop run there. But this is kind of developing really nicely. I think this actually kind of reminds me like a mini version of what ETH did, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. So check out this ETH market structure. You had sharp rally, right? Uh, Double top here, breaks the low, and obviously people get stop run, like oh no, everyone gets bearish. Uh, this You have this bear flag here, and everyone thinks it's going to break down, right? And you get 1, 2, and then we're a little bit of retest here, higher highs, and then bam, up to 4K. So I'll just keep that in mind. Double top, run the lows, range, right? And if we look at Doge, um, not exactly a double top, more like a triple top, but very, very, very similar price action, I'd say. Like top, run the lows, stop everyone out. Think get everyone bearish here, bear flag, and then proceed to drift up. That's kind of what I see playing out. And then versus Bitcoin, yeah, pretty much the same structure. So I do like, and then on top of that, you have like the seasonality. If you look at these vertical yellow lines, it's after the halving, typically October after the halving. Um, Doge outperforms Bitcoin for like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's just always historically happened. Same thing here, October all the way to May 21. And, if we were to draw this line again, um, October here was the low. Literally, the low was October 14th. And I think you get the same pattern playing out again. You have this. And I just think I think crypto is very cyclical. There's a lot of seasonality to it. And I don't want to fade this trend. I think it's a good risk reward on top of all the attention catalysts that I mentioned. I think minimum we see Doge at $1 and definitely outperforms Bitcoin in the next 6 months for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I think those two, frankly, there's two positions I am looking at, and it's or two coins I'm looking at, and it's both Sui and Doge. For those,
Yeah,
it's for those very comfy gains, right? Those to me, those are very comfy gains that I know it's not going to be a 20x or a 30x, but I know it's going to be at least a 3 or 4x.
you can.
Exactly, you can sleep on them, right? And so, it's very interesting. I don't know about you, but for me, it's slowly starting to shift the way I trade, right? More of in terms of if I'm going to have a big amount of money, do I want to go heavy on something that I have to worry about or that I don't? And now that I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it, I'm thinking about next bull run, right? What am I going to accumulate? I'm going to obviously accumulate Doge. I'm obviously going to accumulate Sui, right? And so those are going to be those are the things I'm already thinking about, right? To guarantee it's a guaranteed 4 or 5x. So just think about it that way. What's your take though?
I think I don't know about Sui, but I think like Doge is almost up there with like ETH, right? Like and
Mhm.
Bitcoin, like Bitcoin, ETH, Doge. Those guys aren't going anywhere. They've kind of solidified themselves in the market. And uh, let's remember, like 99% of projects, when we do sell off, are going to go down 95% or more.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
at least Bitcoin or Doge, they're going to be around. Like, even if you're underwater, there's long term catalyst for those, right? There's long term adoption for those, and it has like that brand presence, the biggest meme.
Yeah.
And don't fade there's a unit bias too of like retail, right? Like if you go on Coinbase and you see one Bitcoin is over 100K and you see one Doge is at 33 cents, when you have to think like how your exit liquidity is going to think essentially. And they're going to see Doge and think it's cheaper. And they're going to see it and think it could go to thousands of dollars. So it's just,
News. Yeah.
that's the type of thing you want to front run, on top of, the Elon calling his department the Doge department. There's going to be
Yeah.
headlines about it everywhere. So I think it is a safer trade, like Sui.
Yeah.
But so the way I kind of play it is have my big positions in those safe spots, like where I know when the market does draw down, like it's not drawing down as much, and then kind of juice it up with some riskier stuff, like a barbell type of trade.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think on that sense, like if I were to, like if I'm gonna do it again next time, that's how I'll do it. Like big amount goes into the comfy ones, and obviously, understanding what the new meta is gonna be, in the next bull cycle, right? It may still be AI, it may still be meme coins, who knows, right? And then start focusing on where the attention is, right? Oh, right. But kind of quickly, I do want to show you. I do follow Eunice, so she's got 33,000 subscribers, right? One of the things that they're saying is, next level down range, because they say that it doesn't look like it's going to hold up these levels much longer. The risk time is here. I'm closing up all my positions that aren't moving and even cut loss on plays not working.
You're
Perhaps
seeing a lot of this, right? A lot of KOLs are
after Trump gets
capitulating.
back in office to rally the cycle, let's see what happens. And then the unit is pulled out of, he did a pullout game. So, oh yeah, I did want to share one of these with you guys. We did have this posted around on our Telegram group around this region, around like the 60s, 30s. We started looking at this impulse, and then we came all the way up to 150. So that was a good 100 to 150% gain, right? And I started bidding here. This is, for you guys that don't know, this is a large language model. It's a very interesting coin.
So
But
good.
there's a lot of support, from others in the market. They really like this and they want to take it to billions. So I don't think this is dead quite yet. I do like this impulse that we had. So if you take the fib from the top to the bottom, this is exactly where I bid. I bid around the 30s, but we did wig down all the way to the 20s. So that actually would have been great. But anyway, I'm here. To me, this is deviation, maybe some sideways action here, and then maybe we break out again, right? I'm hoping Binance does some listing for this one. That'd be incredible. But I don't know how far we can get on that. What do you think on large language model? What's your take? What are the the people that you work with? What do they think about this one?
I think it had a good run up to 100 million, right? Like it's obviously just a pure meme coin. I think the thing to watch with this is like the volume, which I see it does have still like 26 million in volume, which is good. Um, yeah, I'd see just how the meme is evolving. Like it's very tough. Even the best memes these days are
Yeah.
really dying out, and not making highs like they were before. Like I personally like, I'm a big fartcoin fan. I think fartcoin outperforms most memes, so I'm not really buying any meme that I don't think that I think won't outperform fartcoin. But in terms of a trade, I mean, if you start to see like a range and some consolidation there and volume holds, I think this could definitely make another run.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just give you guys that update on this one. It could have potential. I am looking to see that. I do want to see this break out of this one. But yeah, this is to me as a trade. Obviously, give it gets higher, great. You know, it's a win. But yeah, that's one that I've been keeping one in my eye. And then we have Butthole. Butthole was a very interesting one. We also talked about this one. This one has been what's that?
Also, the fartcoin
The
beta.
fartcoin beta.
Someone said Butthole was a fartcoin infrastructure.
That's great.
It's not looking bad,
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, look, we had this chart a while out. You know, this one reached. So LLM reached 160 million market cap. This one hit 130. You know, again, 786. It's a beautiful range, right? 786 double bottom, and it has a lot of strength here. So maybe some more sideways action, and then maybe go up. But I don't see this one going. Personally, I don't think this one can go no more than, I think it's capped at like 500 million if people want to bid it. But I don't know. It's something we should see how this one plays out, right? So yeah, again,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think it's interesting how before the best memes, like goat or peanut stuff like that, they were running up to billions, right?
Yeah,
And then every time, like every couple months, the peaks get lower of these meme coin runners, and then you have like chill guy and some other ones run up to like 500 mil, 600 mil, and now you're only seeing the hot coins run up to like 200 million, 160 million, right?
yeah.
And I'm talking about memes specifically. And memes were like one of the big outperformers last year. So I do think like the market has gotten overly pessimistic on memes. But that said, you probably want to stick to blue chips. That's why I like Doge. Like it's also it could benefit from like a meme rotation. So maybe that's something we'll start looking into. Like, what are the blue chip memes that are maybe overly sold at the moment? Like stuff like Pepe or Bonk that could have like another leg. Because again, you want to front run like attention and be buying stuff when no one is paying attention, right? And I do think memes could become outperformers again.
Yeah, yeah. I think the ones that continue to have the attention would probably do that, right? But yeah, anyway, we'll leave this at that, and then let's look at Farcoin, right? We might as well. Um,
Yeah, let's end it off with Farcoin. It's a
yeah.
good one to cover last.
Now hold on, let's look at Tardy really quick.
Oh yeah, that's a Sui Beta. Oh, it's back at 20 mil. Nice.
Yeah, I think the swings on this ones are they're very interesting. Yeah, I had him in a flag here. I mean, if I mean, I like this region here that. So yeah, we did break down. I don't want to see a rejection here, right? So then to continue to go down, but I do like this one. It's respecting trend here, right? Support.
It's got one. It's got like 5 or 6 touches on that 15 mil line.
Yeah,
So definitely strong
strong
there.
support. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember this wick here?
Boy, do I.
All right, yeah, but anyway, so we should see if if we could see if we could extend it right as a flag, and if it all works out here, then we should be good, right? To see.
Yeah, I did see they got like listed on
Oh,
Mexi.
nice. Okay.
So they are one of the coins on Sui getting listings and shown. It's been choppy, but I'm still bullish. I'm still holding my position, and I think I really like the content they're putting on. I could see this in hundreds of millions at some point if there is a Sui meme run.
Yeah. And now let's take a look at where is it? Oh yeah, this is another I want to look at, but
You literally just put everything on one watch list.
yeah, dude. And then I just start removing the one
That's pretty
anything
funny.
below like 2 mil or 1 mil. I just put it away. What was the other one I
Yeah,
was looking at?
fartcoin.
No. Before we get to fartcoin, dude, this one was a banger. Man.
Yes.
We gave you grift on the group chat on the Telegram group at 20 mil. We had a really nice setup, and it honestly it took a few days, right? You just had to wait a little bit longer, and now it's at a 5x. So anybody in our Telegram group that did hold made a nice 5x. So let's look at this one really quick.
Yeah, that's another. This is another like newer kind of meta. They're calling like DeFi,
Fine.
but with AI at the
Yeah.
end. So it's
Yeah.
like DeFi with AI wallets, AI, interfaces, basically like a chat GPT for DeFi. And Grift is kind of, wow, it's definitely emerged as a leader. It's
Yeah. I
crossing over
mean,
100 mil.
exactly. And we gave you guys around here. We talked about breaking levels, and I mean, look at that run. And this one, and talking about strength, right? And one of the things is that we put some coins on the Telegram group, and obviously it's not financial advice, but some do run and some just completely flop, right? But one of the things that I've realized about this one is that every dip they just eat it up. So it's like it'll dump so hard and it'll just get back up. It'll do like a 40-50%, 40-50%, right? And just from this morning, right, when Bitcoin hit 89k, we just did
Wow.
100x. Like, it's like this is showing strength. Now there is some resistance around this area to keep an eye on, but Grift, 200%, or that's a 5x from when we gave it to you guys, right? And then one that's showing a lot of. There's two more, Arc and Tank. Tank is really showing some strength, and I say this
Yeah,
because
Arc is on my buy list. I've
yeah,
done some research on them, and
I mean
they're definitely,
they're good, right?
yeah, from
This,
they just have a lot of catalysts, a lot of momentum
I'm sorry.
in the right
Yeah,
narrative.
yeah. I'm sorry, it wasn't Arc, it was Alpha. But yeah, no, definitely flopped Arc. That was a rough one. But
You were in Arc?
no, I had it in my radar to buy below like 50 mil, but I fumbled. So
I think it
it is
could
what it is.
still have some legs.
Yeah. This is another one I'm looking at, Alpha Arc. Um, yeah, it's at 15 mil. It has that same thing, right? That whole scenario of when it dumps, it like pumps up again really fast. But I mean, right now it's been just in an accumulation range, uh, kind of like Grift. So there's this.
This is a schizo chart,
What's that?
man. That's crazy. This is a pretty schizo chart. Like just
Yeah, but that's how
fake out after.
that's how Grift was, right? It was like up and down, up and
Yeah,
down, up and down, and then it had that final move where it was like, all right. But below 12 mil, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even going to touch this one, right? So that's one to keep an eye, because it dumps and then does 100x. It dumps and it does do the same thing. So it's showing strength. It's showing a lot of buyers, right? And I really like that in a chart. So yeah, this is one to look at. But I think you told me about Tank, and that one
Tank.
has shown a lot of strength over the last few days. Um, yeah, I think this morning this one was at 15 or 12 million market cap. Agent Tank.
Yeah, and I think right now, when the market's slow, this is the time to really do research of like what are the teams that are gonna, still in the market, still putting out updates, still upgrading their tech, still doing marketing. Like basically, those are the guys that are making progress and are gonna lead. Like Griff, they're gonna lead that next leg higher.
I love this setup, dude, and I'm very, but it's a cup and handle, right? And we just did a double bottom. We're looking at the 8-hour bullish divergence. We're moving higher. I mean, Tank for me is looking really good. We'll actually post this one in the group. Yeah, no, this looks really good. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, breakout already. Maybe like another retest, and then we're out. All right, now we can get to fartcoin.
yeah. I think one of the things we'll start doing this year is just like quick videos on like what is Tank, what is virtuals, what is fartcoin, like what's the thesis, why are people bullish? Because obviously TA is great, but something like Grift, it had multiple 70, 60, 70% retracements, and that's kind of where you need like the fundamental analysis to understand, like have conviction on what the project is building, and its price doesn't always reflect. It's not always efficient. and reflecting the potential of the project. So we'll start doing those kind of breakdowns this year as well.
Yeah, I think that would be very useful, right? I think for me, for you, for everybody watching, just because then you're understanding why this project will run. You can actually do analysis to find early projects, right?
Yeah,
Then
and
invest.
like why are we even doing TA on these in the first place, right? Like there's the technical side of it, but there's also like we're pricing in these future catalysts that the market's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, looking at the strength this one has, like I'm not gonna lie, I was very bearish around here, like 113. I knew this was gonna dump, but I mean, the way this thing gets eaten, I mean, we did hit 67 cents. We went to 6 million or 600, um, 600 million, right? Yeah, million market cap, and we're back to 1 billion. And I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, this right here, or fuck, what is it? The RSI is looking very bullish.
Looks,
Stochastics
looks ready to cook.
just getting started, right? And I
That's on
mean
the daily too.
that's on the exactly, yeah, yeah. And I mean we just did like a 40% to the from this morning. That's a 40% move.
Yeah.
I am a little bit bearish on this on the MACD. Uh, yeah, let's keep an eye on the 120s. If we can break the 120s, retest it, and hold, dude, we're seeing higher. There's no doubt in that. So keep that in mind. I think that's what I have for that one. Maybe potentially some listings on Coinbase would make sense. And then I'd really like to see this coin on Robinhood. Robinhood would probably send this one to like 5 billion to 10 billion. Not financial advice, but this would be a runner.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest 10x in the market, not financial advice.
Yeah.
But we
Go ahead.
sorry, were you finishing up or did
No, no,
you
no.
have
Go
anything
for it. Go
else?
for it. No, I mean,
Uh
I have time, so you let me know.
okay. So I just do want to share, like, Farcoin's at a billion, and uh, we are making calls on our Telegram channel. We gave a call here on Farcoin at around 40 million, I think, here on October 22nd. 40 million. We said Farcoin will likely be one of the leaders of the AI meme coin meta. Setup discussed on the stream. Consider dips a gift. And we've been updating, you can see updates all the way through November. And um, we gave an update here at 100 million. Farcoin is in a bullish megaphone pattern. If it breaks to the upside, it will reprice violently upwards. Dips can be bought as long as 0.5 holds. So, um, this is one that I think took me a little bit to understand of just how much potential it could have. And basically, it's the only crypto coin token outside of Bitcoin and Doge. Basically, those two that accounts that people outside of crypto talk about, right? Like I've seen a lot of TradFi accounts talk about this, and it's kind of the type of coin that people can't help talk about, whether they're bullish or bearish. It's just so ridiculous uh, of a concept, and attention is value. That's we're in an attention economy now. Attention is more about one of the most valuable things in the world, and when you have something like this that's just so just ignites like emotion and makes people have to talk about it. Like Farcoin is worth a billion. Like that's just saying that out loud. I feel ridiculous, but it's going to be even more ridiculous and funny when it's at 10 billion, and that's kind of what's going to fuel it higher. At least that's my thesis. But yeah, we gave several setups here, so make sure you guys are joining the Telegram, and it's linked in our Twitter. And this is, I'll just show my Twitter real quick. It's edge_ventures. And yeah, you guys can hop in our Telegram. It's free. So this is my profile here. And yeah, we're calling stuff like Farcoin early. Doge, we did 100x on that. So we're not able to make these videos all the time, but we're posting daily updates here. So make sure you guys are joining that.
Yeah. And let me anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it. I think
All
just
right,
to summarize
let me
today,
just
oh yeah, go
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, go
I
for
was
it.
just gonna say like the themes of today, right? We are just to sum up everything we talked about. Like we're bullish. Trump coming in. We think the market's overly bearish. Yes, we could see dips to the 80s, but uh, the trades we like right now are SUI. We like AI leaders, and we've talked about the coins we're bullish on in the Telegram, and the Trump trade we like Doge. So just summing up, this the stream, and yeah, we're gonna be posting updates on those setups in the Telegram.
Yeah. Right before we go, I do want to talk about I want to talk about this. So I'm on the 4 hour time frame. It's one of my favorite time frames to do some swing trading. And it's worked out really well in the 4 hours. So I do want to point out this is bullish divergence, right? We made price went lower and the RSI stayed the same and maybe a little lower, right? But that to me, that's bullish divergence, right? It's not matching. And the MACD wants to turn back up again. So this could be a reversal trend. I do want to say something that we want to break this right here. That's what we want to break, and we want to get above it and retest it and continue upwards. I really
Is
want
that
to see that.
95?
Otherwise, yeah, yeah. We just closed. Yes, our daily close yesterday was 94K. I want to see us close above that, right? Closing above that would mean if we just get rid of all this. Look, now we're fighting the 21 MA. That's why I want to get above the 95K. We get above that, that'd be incredible because then that means we continue. So this is a good. This is we're in a very interesting place. But I'd be very bullish once we start closing above it. Right? We did hit the lows for Monday, and maybe we can start continuing to see more higher highs or maybe sideways. Right? But yeah, this is crucial for me to see higher prices. But other than that, I would say it was a good bounce for the day. That's a very strong bounce. Sui, we were talking about it at 63. It's at 270 now. Doge, I mean, I'm liking this flip right here. That's a very bullish flip for me. RSI or the stochastics turning up, the MACD about to go green. Yeah, I like this one a lot. It this might be the bottom. Again, we have to take it day by day to really understand the probability. So, yep, that's all we got. Yeah, that's a wrap, right?
All right. Awesome. Yeah, good, good.
Yep.
It's long. This was a long one, but a lot to cover. And yeah, I think thank you for watching. Join the Telegram if you want to see the updates, and we'll try to put out more stuff for you guys.